Hey, so if you're new to the world of cloud native development in Kubernetes, you've probably wondered to yourself, what's the difference between containers and pods? Well, hi, my name is Cedric Clyburn. I'm a developer advocate at Red Hat, and I'm here to explain the differences between these two technologies and help you learn more in your journey of Kubernetes. Now, what are containers? Well, containers are a fascinating technology that allow us to package up an application such as a web app, a database, an API, whatever it might be, along with its code, its runtime, and its libraries. So essentially everything that this application needs to run in an isolated environment is packaged up in this one singular unit. And this is known as what's called a container image. So we take this container image and we can now deploy this to a variety of different locations, such as maybe a production server or our colleague's computer for him to test out the application. And it provides this standard that is super important in today's development world for transporting applications and deploying them. Now, I'm sure you know about what a VM is, but what's the difference between containerization technology? Well, they're both using virtualization, of course, but while a VM is including the application, the library, and the operating system, which can be pretty bulky at times, the container is only including the application and the libraries, but not the underlying operating system. It uses the host's operating system as well as its kernel and its resources in order to run the application. So in effect, it's much more lightweight and efficient, and it allows us to iterate a lot faster when we're developing applications in the modern age. Now, containers, they're amazing, but what containers really allow us to do is to create microservice-based applications using this amazing tool called Kubernetes. Now, Kubernetes is the de facto standard in orchestration of these containerized applications. So they allow us to automate, to manage, and to scale up perhaps one, perhaps 100, perhaps 1,000 or more of these containerized applications in order to form one full application. It's a very popular technology, and actually last year, as part of the State of Enterprise 2022 report at Red Hat, we took a survey and found that 70% of IT leaders are using Kubernetes within their organizations. So it's a hugely popular and adopted technology for being able to manage containers. And it's awesome. But what are Kubernetes pods? Now, you've probably heard of it before, but a pod is the smallest deployable unit that goes within Kubernetes. So a pod allows us to take containers and deploy them on our cluster by taking essentially one or more of these containers and packaging it up. So we're able to share networking within these containers. We're able to share ports within this grouping. We're even able to share things like volumes so that they can share different storage. But of course, since they are containers, they still have isolation because they're file systems. Now, if we take a look at a pod example, let's say that we have a Python application that's serving web content, right? So this has been containerized, of course, and we also have another container, which is logging or pushing data from this Python application somewhere. Now, to deploy them into Kubernetes, since they are closely related processes, we can simply put them all within a container. And this allows them to be able to talk to each other on localhost, which is pretty neat. So this is effectively the best way to be able to deploy these applications, to allow them to talk together closely and to, with Kubernetes, manage them. So we can manage things like memory, the CPU usage, and when we have a lot of traffic coming to our application, let's say we're getting a lot of demand. Maybe people love our site and they're just coming to visit it. So what Kubernetes will be doing is actually instantiating new pods up in the cluster. So it's connecting these using something that's known as a service for load balancing. And so almost instantaneously, we can bring up new pods, and we can also bring down the pods. So Kubernetes is the way to be able to work with containers by using pods, so they correlate together like that. Now, it's a fascinating technology, and if you'd like to get your hands on and get some practical experience with Kubernetes, I recommend you try out something like Minikube, which allows you to spin up a local Kubernetes cluster on your development machine, and then you can take what you've done and deploy that to a cloud provider of your choice with their Kubernetes offerings. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more tech-based content.